they should expect to be making the playoffs. The big question mark was, what is Bryce Underwood going to look like as a true freshman, kid who just turned 18 years old 11 days ago? The answer was he's going to look phenomenal. He's going to look like the 5-star prodigy that you were promised. This dude looked like an absolute man-child out there playing quarterback. He did not look like he was 18 years old whatsoever. Michigan fans, I think, could actually watch this guy, even against the New Mexico State team, and start visualizing what this team looks like at the end of the season. And it's a playoff team. Like, that was enough for me to be all in on this kid as early as week 1. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how impressive it was for Bryce Underwood early on in this game and throughout the course of the game. It could not have been a better test for Bryce Underwood. I mean, not a test in terms of opponents. That's next week for Oklahoma. But in terms of like, hey, here's every test that you're going to have to pass this weekend. He passed every single one of them. And if you want like to just go back and watch like what was the best stretch, go back and watch the 2-minute drill before the half. 5 for 5, 62 yards, and a touchdown in which it was just beautifully thrown over the top to his tight end. Nice little touch on it. Not too, like, just incredible stuff from Bryce Underwood from the start of the game until the very end. Barely even used his legs, but one of those guys that's going to be impossible to sack when he's standing up straight in the pocket. Impossible to bring down. He's a stud. Like, that's my biggest takeaway from this weekend. Bryce Underwood is a stud, and Michigan fans, I think, now should have the expectation of getting into the playoffs, even after just 1 week of watching this kid. He's one of the 5 best quarterbacks I watched this weekend.
Yeah, the ceiling has been raised for Michigan, absolutely, as far as what they can accomplish this year. I would argue that they already should have had playoff aspirations, right? Already being ranked as a near top 12 team in the country, over-under at 9.5, light schedule. Big Ten put 4 teams in last season. You would expect Michigan to be a top 4 team in the conference. So I would think that they already had the playoff expectations. Now it's bigger. Like now maybe we're talking they could win the Big Ten. Was that in play coming into the season? Did anyone really think like the Michigan team is going to win the Big Ten this year?
It felt like there was a pretty big gap between Penn State, Ohio State, and the rest of the bunch.
I would say so. But obviously Michigan should feel confident against Ohio State because they've beat them the last several years, so that's fair. And not having to play Penn State, Oregon makes sense. But I think that maybe, yeah, the ceiling now is a little bit higher of can you win the Big Ten? Can you make some actual noise here with a freshman quarterback in the college football playoff? I'm not sure it's as high as, like, we can win the national championship again. Obviously, you're going to be hopeful of that, but you do have a freshman quarterback at the end of the day. But like you said, if you didn't know how old the kid was, if you didn't know what grade he was in, you would not have thought he was a freshman watching him play.
No. You wouldn't have thought he turned 18 11 days ago. He was one of the more physically imposing quarterbacks of the entire weekend. Like that block he laid out. Oh, my God. Like what other quarterback is even capable of flatlining someone like that?
Yeah. And it's not even like, because of how Bryce Underwood played this week, like now I think that it's not even just like the game that he had. It's just now you know what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back at this game, like obviously it's against New Mexico, but just seeing the way that he played, the way he moves, the plays, the windows he's able to fit it through, like knowing what he is capable of just raises the ceiling for Michigan, whereas coming into the year it was still all just hypothetical. It was hopefully this guy is instantly better than any option they had at quarterback a year ago. Obviously that's been answered. That was very clear made on the first play of the game, so he's one of the better quarterbacks they've had in the last several years. So I think that the expectations for Michigan, just knowing what Bryce Underwood is capable of, are much higher at this point.
Playing your flag right now, is he going to win a Heisman at some point?
I don't even want to answer this because I know your answer.
I think it's yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that you were going to say that, yeah. I mean, look, let's say that he is as good as expectations and as he looked week 1. 3-year college player. Like, no way he goes into his 4th year.
Nope.
Well, unless he's getting paid a ton of money in the quarterback classes. Like, there's a world, I guess.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
Until it actually happens, I don't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. So, a 3-year college player, not going to win it this year. Like, let's chop that out of the way. True freshman, not going to win the Heisman this year. 2 years to do it. The next five. I knew you were going to say that.
I didn't say anything. I just made a funny noise.
You did make a funny noise, yeah. Next year, you're going to have – it depends on who comes back. If Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers come back, it's tough for him. That junior year, though.
Oh, you don't think Lenoris is still coming back, do you? Feels like that.
1 week, man.
The hype train is like –
come on.
The hype train's moving 100 miles an hour on the Lenore Sellers
I understand being
train.
hyped up about how guys played, and I'm with you on Sellers and Underwood. They look good. we gotta pump the brakes here.
No, this is what week one is. This is what the Monday after week one is for. Overreact.
Let's wait till he plays Oklahoma before saying he's going to win the Heisman.
I didn't say he was going to win the Heisman this year. I said it looked like a Heisman quarterback on Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
What can happen against Oklahoma to make you take back how you're acting today?
7 interceptions.
Oh, so nothing.
I don't know, man. I just got so excited. It was one of the first time. Like, you know this about me, and this is like a me personal thing. Like, I kind of just like removed myself from being like the diehard Michigan fan. In recent years, like really after I graduated college, I was like, I don't think I need to just be a fan of this team anymore. I think I can just root for Michigan and Michigan State. And just the fact that there's storylines going on, I got excited because of the job. But yesterday was the first time I was like, oh my God, like this is exciting. This is fun. I can't wait to watch this guy again. Whereas you didn't feel like that last year if you're a Michigan fan. It was like, oh God, I have to watch Jack Tuttle play quarterback. No, like now there's actually a reason to be excited every single Saturday. Because of this kid. You get to see, like, what on earth is he going to do now? I can't wait for this game.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Oklahoma game. Like, as much as I thought the game one was, I'm already moved on. I moved on from week one because this, to me, the Oklahoma game for Bryce Underwood is crucial. We talk about how weak the Michigan schedule is this year. I don't want to call it weak. It's just there isn't a ton of, like, top-tier opponents on it, especially early in the season. Oklahoma, Nebraska has a chance to be pretty good. I think that's going to be a good game week 4. No Sharon Moore, so that comes into play. This game just means a ton early in Bryce Underwood's career. How truly competitive can Michigan be on a national level this season? That can potentially get answered this week, and then we don't find out again until the last week of the season against Ohio State. So that's why I'm really excited for this game against Oklahoma, because that's when I'll make a true thought process about Bryce Underwood. Right now, it's just a lot of hype and a lot of, like, wow, that really blew out of the water as far as my expectations for him. Looked really good, but I'm not concrete set into anything with Bryce Underwood yet. I think next week there's a chance for me to feel that way.
Bryce Underwood, I thought, was one of the 5 best quarterbacks we saw this entire weekend, not even just relative to the expectations, but just in general, point-blank period. I thought he was fantastic. I think Michigan fans need to move the goalpost even further back in terms of what this team's capable of accomplishing this year. And if this team can knock off Oklahoma next week with everyone watching, because it's game day, it's the only ranked versus ranked matchup of the entire college football slate for week 2, everyone's going to get their eyes on Bryce Underwood. Everyone's going to see how much of a true 5-star prodigy that this guy is. I mean, he's making throws last week against New Mexico that, yes, it's an inferior opponent, but just translate to any opponent because there's only so many quarterbacks in the country that are even capable of making the throws that he's doing. Some of the mechanics have been incredible, and he didn't even really have to use his athleticism all that often, other than the throws on the run, which were almost mind-blowing to me. Some of the touch passes he had, like, he really had a full display of everything other than his legs in terms of why he was as highly recruited as he was. And with this big game coming up against Oklahoma, I really think there's a chance that a week from today, all of a sudden, we're talking about Bryce Underwood in a way that no college player has ever been talked about because he's making $12 million, because we're in this new 12-team playoff format, because he's a true freshman who's playing for a team that is about to be ranked inside of the top 12. Like, this scenario has never happened before for a quarterback. So I think after next week, Bryce Underwood could be in a whole new stratosphere in terms of the way the national media is talking about this kid. 989-837-66